On the 4th of December, 1872, a ship was spotted drifting alone in the Atlantic Ocean, roughly 400 miles from the coast of Portugal. Her sails were set, her course was steady, and there was not a single person on board. Tonight, we are going to tell the story of that ship. Find a cool, dark place and listen in. Part 1. The Departure. The Mary Celeste set sail from New York Harbor on the 7th of November, 1872, bound for Genoa, Italy. She carried 1,700 barrels of denatured alcohol, industrial grade, intended for fortifying wine once it reached its destination. At the helm was Captain Benjamin Briggs, a respected and experienced sailor from a long line of seafaring men. He was known among his peers as careful, sober, and deeply methodical, not the kind of man prone to reckless decisions or unnecessary risk. This was not his first crossing of the Atlantic, and by all accounts, he approached this voyage with the same steady discipline he always had. Briggs did not travel alone. His wife, Sarah, joined him for the journey, along with their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia. It was common at the time for a captain's family to accompany him on long voyages, particularly when the trip was not expected to carry unusual danger. The crew numbered 7 additional men, all experienced sailors, all with clean records and no known history of trouble. By every measure available at the time, this should have been an unremarkable crossing. A steady captain, a capable crew, a well-built ship. Nothing about the departure suggested what was to come. 8 days after the Mary Celeste departed New York, another ship, the Dei Gratia, left port bound for the same general direction across the Atlantic. Her captain, David Morehouse, was, by coincidence, personally acquainted with Benjamin Briggs. The 2 men had dined together shortly before their respective departures. On the 4th of December, nearly a month after the Mary Celeste had set sail, the crew of the Dei Gratia spotted a ship in the distance, moving unsteadily, her sails partially set in a way that suggested something was wrong. As they drew closer, they recognized her. It was the Mary Celeste. Morehouse sent 2 of his men aboard to investigate. What they found would become one of the most enduring mysteries in maritime history. The ship was completely deserted. Not a single person remained on board. Not Captain Briggs, not his wife or daughter, not one member of the crew. And yet almost everything else about the ship suggested nothing catastrophic had occurred. The investigating sailors moved carefully through the empty vessel, and what they documented has been studied and debated for over a century since. The ship's cargo of 1,700 barrels of alcohol was almost entirely intact. Only 9 barrels were later found to be empty, a detail that would become significant in later theories, though at the time it did not seem alarming. 6 months of food and fresh water remained on board, undisturbed and untouched. Whatever had happened, it did not appear to be caused by starvation, thirst, or any kind of prolonged crisis. The captain's personal belongings, along with his wife's, remained in their quarters. Sarah's sewing machine sat undisturbed, with a piece of unfinished sewing still resting beside it, as though she had simply stepped away for a moment and never returned. The ship's only lifeboat was missing. This detail alone suggested that whatever had happened, the people on board had made a deliberate decision to leave the ship, not that they had been taken, harmed, or lost in some sudden and violent way, but that they had chosen, calmly or urgently, to abandon the Mary Celeste and enter the ocean in a smaller vessel. The ship's logbook was found. Its final entry dated the 25th of November, 9 days before the discovery. The final recorded position placed the Mary Celeste roughly 400 miles from where she was eventually found, drifting unmanned. There was no sign of violence anywhere on board, no blood, no damage suggesting a struggle, no indication of piracy, mutiny, or any deliberate act of harm. The ship herself was seaworthy, capable of continuing her voyage exactly as she had been sailing. In the century and a half since the Mary Celeste was found, no single explanation has ever been definitively proven. But several theories have persisted, each attempting to account for the strange combination of details left behind. One of the earliest and most enduring theories centers on the ship's cargo. Denatured alcohol, particularly in barrels made of red oak rather than the more common white oak, can seep vapor more easily. If enough vapor escaped into the cargo hold, it is possible that fumes accumulated to a dangerous degree. Some historians believe Captain Briggs may have feared an explosion, prompting him to order the crew and his family into the lifeboat as a precaution, intending to remain nearby until the danger passed. If the lifeboat then became separated from the ship, perhaps due to a snapped or poorly secured tow line, those aboard it would have been left stranded in the open ocean with no way to return. Another theory suggests that a sudden and severe storm may have caused the crew to fear the ship was taking on water or at risk of sinking, leading to a hasty evacuation that, in hindsight, proved unnecessary. The ship, as it turned out, remained afloat and seaworthy long after they had gone. A third theory points to the possibility of a malfunctioning pump. If the crew believed, mistakenly, that the ship's hold was flooding faster than it actually was, this alone could explain a rapid and fearful decision to abandon ship, made under the belief that the Mary Celeste was moments from sinking beneath them. Over the years, far less grounded theories have also emerged. Tales involving sea monsters, waterspouts, or even the paranormal. These explanations, while enduring in popular imagination, are not taken seriously by maritime historians, who generally regard the mystery as most likely explained by some combination of the cargo, the weather, and a fatal miscalculation made under pressure, far from any hope of rescue. What makes the Mary Celeste so enduringly strange is not simply that something went wrong. Ships are lost at sea, crews die, storms sink vessels, and violence sometimes finds its way aboard even the most carefully captained ships. What makes this case different is the absence of resolution. No wreckage of a lifeboat was ever found. No bodies were ever recovered. Captain Briggs, his wife, his young daughter, and every member of his crew simply vanished into the Atlantic Ocean, leaving behind a ship that appeared, in almost every respect, ready to continue exactly as it had been. The lifeboat theory remains the most widely accepted among historians, not because it has been proven, but because it is the explanation that best accounts for the physical evidence left behind. An intact ship, missing only her lifeboat and the people who once sailed her. But without wreckage, without survivors, and without a single surviving account from anyone who was aboard that day, the truth of what happened on the Mary Celeste in the days before the 4th of December, 1872, remains exactly where it has remained for over 150 years. Somewhere in the vast quiet of the Atlantic, a captain made a decision. Perhaps out of fear, perhaps out of caution, perhaps believing, in that moment, that it was the only choice that might save the people he loved. We will likely never know if he was right. The Mary Celeste herself continued sailing for another 12 years after that day, passing through several owners before eventually being deliberately wrecked off the coast of Haiti in an unrelated insurance fraud. An oddly quiet end for a ship whose greatest mystery had already slipped beneath the Atlantic. Sleep well.